Hey, how's it going out there in YouTube land? My name's Shard. This is One Foot of Books. It's been a while, yes, I know. I know. I said in the last video, which was like a year ago, I'm gonna do more. Yeah, it didn't work out, did it? This is episode, I don't even know, I didn't even check before I jumped on to start this. I just wanted to kind of get it out, get it done. I think we're at episode 28, 29. I don't know. I just wanted, like I say, I went for a morning walk before. You know how, you kind of set your mind to things and you want to do certain things, but they just fall by the wayside. Like last year when I did the last video, I was like, yeah, I'm getting back into it. I had like 6 months off and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And it didn't happen, but other things jumped in to fill that time, I started really taking seriously. I take morning walks 4 times a week, a couple of 1,000 meters every morning. It takes about half an hour, 3 to 4 mornings a week, not every morning. But I found that's been really good. It's taken up some of my time. Screen addiction. I seriously feel myself becoming more addicted to screens, especially YouTube, this thing I'm putting this on. I think it's starting to become a problem. Is it for you? I just find YouTube's like that safe harbor that my brain wants me to go to, like at night or even in the morning when I've got a few hours before I start work, because I work late a couple of nights a week. And yeah, I just kind of get on YouTube and stare and, not even absorb content. I just let it wash over me for no real good reason. And it's just, I've really got to kind of get a handle on that. So I've been reading a bit more, getting back into the old fiction, because fiction, I find, I read a lot of non-fiction as well, but fiction, especially the last couple of years, has just been like this nice calming thing. Not much stress to it. You kind of, read where you can, and you get a nice satisfaction of absorbing a story as it unfolds. So I'm just getting over a cold too. It is winter here in the Blue Mountains, just outside of Sydney. It's Tuesday morning. So my moustache is getting a bit long too. Kind of goes up my nose and itches. If you needed to know that, it's probably about 10 degrees. Just got back from my walk. Let's do a foot of books. Yeah, I've got a foot of books right here, 30 centimeters high, not deep. It's not about length. Okay. Let's start at the top here. These are books I've gotten in the last year or so. A few of them I've read. Most of them I haven't. As you can tell from behind me, I haven't read most of those. I've read a lot, but I wouldn't say I've read most. Anyway, this is from Kerry Smith. How to be an explorer of the world. I found this at an op shop in Lithgow, which is on the other side of the Blue Mountains. I went out there for a little day trip with my daughter over the school holidays, and we went to a bunch of op shops because I love going to op shops. And I saw this one, and I was like, this looks pretty cool. And in it is just a lot of experiments that you can do out there in the world without having to have a lot of specialized equipment. A pen and paper is mainly your pen and paper. A pen and paper and your imagination is the main things. And yeah, I want to get into this. It's got some cool stuff in it. Go out and document sounds, write down the things you hear, and collect parts of a tree that have fallen on the ground, or, just pick bark off a tree, not all the way around, don't bring bark a tree, please. Branches, leaves, and then arrange them and take photos, and, and it just kind of wants you to find the beauty and the art in the everyday stuff that we kind of just walk by on our way to work or on our way to do something cooler, Yeah, cool book. I like it. It's all very nice and colourful, and heaps of good quotes and stuff like that about, seeing the beauty in the world around you, because it is a beautiful bloody world, isn't it? Don't tell me it's not. Don't tell me it's screwed. Humans are screwed. What humans are doing is screwed. But the world will survive us. How to be an explorer of the world. Kerry Smith, I should say. Kerry Smith. This one is from, when is this from? From Penguin Books. Came out in 2008. Yeah, there you go. I got that for, I think, $2 at the Vinnies in Lithgow. I've read this before. I picked it up for a friend, Patrick Rothfuss, Name of the Wind. I really like this book and the one after it. I'm still waiting patiently for the third one, Mr. Rothfuss. So it's about this dude who's like, his family's like a wandering gypsies, and he has this innate talent for magic, and his family, bad stuff happens to them, and he finds himself at the main magic school of the world that he's living in. And yeah, it's a little bit Harry Potter, a little bit magician. It's not for kids. A very rollicking, entertaining read if you like the whole magic and fantasy stuff, without going too much into the fantasy or too much into the high politics, although there are some politics, and mainly around the magic school. But yeah, very cool book. I liked it. I might read it again, but like I said, I picked this up for a friend of mine who I've recommended it to. Found it at the Vinnies up in Springwood, couple of bucks. Sweet. This is another find I found out in Lithgow, regional New South Wales. It's a place to go for op shop stuff. John Taylor Gatto, Weapons of Mass Instruction. I found this. I don't think I'm going to read it, but I got it for a friend of mine who is a fan of John Taylor Gatto. John Taylor Gatto is he's a teacher, former teacher, I think, writer, and he's done a bunch of books about how the mainstream education system is kind of screwing us up. And I don't want to go too deep into it, or else we'll be here all day. But he's worked in government policy and stuff like that, I think. Like I say, former teacher, and kind of rallies against the institutional nature of modern schooling and how it hasn't adapted to the world changing, and like it's still like factory thing. It's just like, all right, whack them in there, get the kids used to 9 to 5 factory stuff, and then get them out. And it's like, okay, can you teach us how to do our taxes? How do you make a budget? No, that's fine. Molten lava is called magma, or molten magma is called lava. I don't know. Yeah, stuff like that. So yeah, that's for my mate Chris. When I see him next, got that for $3 up at the Vinnies in Lithgow. John Taylor Gatto. Another book that I tried to read called The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross, which I heard great things about, but I got about halfway through and I stopped. I stopped. It was just, I don't know, man. It was very dense, and I just wasn't in the right frame of mind. I don't know where that is now. Probably with my mate Chris, who I can give that to and go, hey, give me back my Sacred Mushroom and the Cross. This is a little book I found. I've seen it around every once in a while. Bev Aspett, Taming the Black Dog. It's a little comic booky kind of thing. It just, as a long-term sufferer of depression and a bit of ADHD and stuff like that, all up in here. I look for I don't want a lot in my bookshelf about self-help and stuff like that. I've got a bit, admittedly, but I like to have stuff that's practical and that you can use. And this one is pretty good. I've got about halfway through it. A lot of stuff that I'm familiar with, but hey, that's what looking after your mental health is reminding yourself of the stuff you already know. And if you don't know much about depression and stuff like that, grab a book like this. It's really good. It's easy to digest. If you're not in therapy, please do go and find a therapist. Look at stuff like CBT. One that really works for me is ACT therapy, Acceptance and Commitment. There's a really good book called The Happiness Trap, and I highly recommend that if you are prone to depressive moods and thoughts and intrusive thoughts and stuff like that. The Happiness Trap is great. Can't remember the guy's name. It's probably sitting there behind me, so if you want to zoom in and slow the video down to 0.25. No. And yeah. But this is cool. I think Bev Asbit is I think this is an Australian book. It's from the year 2000, so it's pretty old, but it's got a lot of cool, pertinent information if you want to kind of, if you need some help looking after your mental health. Easy to digest, easy to read. Just pick it up. Go, oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Anyway. Alex Patakos. Pattakos, Prisoners of Our Thoughts. This is a kind of compendium to Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. That's why I got this. I picked this up at the Vinnies in Springwood. I haven't read it yet. So yeah, like I say, it uses the Man's Search for Meaning by Frankl as its kind of base, and uses that to build upon ideas and concepts. Haven't read it yet. I haven't read Man's Search for Meaning in ages. Maybe I'll read that next after the book I'm currently reading. I would love to revisit that book. I really liked it. And this, I don't know. This is about 7 principles for finding meaning in your life and work. But from the blurb, how do I find meaning in my life? How can I find meaning in my work? World-renowned psychiatrist Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. It's one of the most important books of modern times. Frankl's personal story of finding a reason to live in the most horrendous of circumstances, Nazi concentration camps, has inspired millions. This book applies Frankl's philosophy and therapeutic approach to life and work in the 21st century, detailing 7 principles for increasing your capacity to deal with life-work challenges, finding meaning in your daily life and work, and achieving your highest potential. Yes, I have a foot through this. Someone's underlined it in pencil. Thanks, because now that's the only parts I'm going to remember. Yeah, cool. That's an interesting book I found. I think it was at the Salvos in Springwood. Adam Hart Davis, Fibonacci's Rabbits. And it's all about maths questions and paradoxes. And, questions that you might have, like those common kind of things that we have in pop culture and stuff like that. So like, how can a butterfly change the weather? Why are there 60 seconds in a minute? And stuff like that. What are Cartesian coordinates? Do numbers have to be real? What is pi? How big is infinity? And I just thought this would be a really cool book for my kid to have access to. At some point, and for me too, because maths was never my strong suit. That got kind of drummed into me pretty early by my inner critic and the modern schooling system. So I didn't give a lot of time to maths when I was young, and now we've got calculators in our back pocket, along with the most powerful kind of search engine, wellspring of human knowledge ever in our back pocket. So I don't know, but it's nice to have, if those questions come up. Daddy, what are Cartesian coordinates? Wow, let's go to Fibonacci's Rabbits. I think I got that from the Salvos. And this one I got at a book sale up in Falconbridge, Crosby, Stills and Nash. The definitive inside story of the supergroup. I was in a bit of a Crosby, Stills, Nash listening binge at the time, and I saw this book, and I was like, hey, awesome. If you don't know Crosby, Stills and Nash, do yourself a favor, get on Spotify or your streaming service of choice, or go and find some of their CDs or LPs or tapes. Very cool band, and I just wanted to read more about their history. without having to stare at a screen on Wikipedia and stuff like that. So you always get more from a book. You always get more from a book. If you want to feed it into ChatGPT and do that kind of thing, tell me about it. Crosby, Stills, Nash. Yeah, no. I got that for like, I don't know, you fill a bag for like $5, and I think I filled half a bag, so I gave them $5. Brian Aldiss, Comfort Zone. I'm a big fan of Brian Aldiss. I've read a bunch of his sci-fi and stuff like that. This is his last book, and it's about what happens to a community. It's just when a mosque moves into town. This is written or published back in 2013. I'm looking forward to reading it. I do like Brian Aldiss' stuff. Like I say, I've read a bunch of his sci-fi stuff. Greybeard is like one of my big hearts for Greybeard. Great post-apocalyptic sci-fi story. It's about how, kind of like Children of Men, there's no more children, and it's just old people getting older and dying in this kind of post-apocalyptic world. But I'm looking forward to reading some of his, slice of life stuff. So yeah, and that was his last book. So, I'm keen to read that. Got it from Vinnie's, $2. Can't go wrong. I rarely buy new stuff. New books, anyway. I found this on the weekend. I read it a bunch of years ago. I'm kind of keen to read it again. Houellebecq, Michel, or Michel Houellebecq. I went through a big stage of reading all his stuff, probably like 10 years ago. I read this, I read the other one he did, Platform, Submission, The Promise of an Island, or whatever that one's called. And I liked them, I enjoyed them. And I'm kind of keen to reread his stuff again, because... Well, not even because, it's just like, I don't know about you, but I have fits of nihilism. I, kind of delve into nihilism every once in a while, and it's kind of a fun, warm place to visit, but you don't want to stay there for a long time. And I kind of want to see what this kind of book will do to me, because Houellebecq is, if that's how you say it, I don't know, is famed for his franche nihilism, and yeah, I'm keen to read it again. Yeah. Not that I want to get too deep into nihilism for any extended period of time. Excuse me, because it goes nowhere and serves nothing really. It's not a good philosophy to approach life to, unless you kind of adapt it quite heavily in ways that will help you feel better. Because nihilism does not make you feel better. Anyway, if you're a nihilist and you want to kind of, have a chat about nihilism and maybe the positives of nihilism, let me know. Send me a DM or something. Put a comment below. So that's vintage, a vintage penguin? No, Random House. So yeah. I had a copy of this ages ago. I gave it away. I think I donated it because I was like, I'm never going to read that again. And I saw it again the other day, and I was like, I'm going to get it. I'm going to read it again. This is one I just finished. The Collector by John Fowles. I read his book, The Magus, a couple of years ago. Quite enjoyed it. And I heard really good things about this. This is kind of an infamous novel, an infamous first novel. Came out in the early 60s. It's about a disturbed young man who is on the lower socioeconomic end of the spectrum, comes into a lot of money, buys a house, kits it out, and then kidnaps this woman he has become obsessed with and locks her in the basement. And half of the book is from his point of view, and half of the book is from her point of view via diary entries she keeps while she's a prisoner. And it wasn't until after I was about halfway through that I Wikipedia'd it, and it was like the influence for a number of serial killers, and I'm just like, bit of a red flag there, buddy. But I read it. I stuck with it. I really liked it. A really challenging quite beautiful book. It kind of reminded me of Lolita in that it tackles the subject matter that you generally wouldn't, at least not back in the early 60s, you know? And yeah, Frederick is the kidnapper is in no way, shape, or form a sympathetic character at all. He's one of the most evil, like mundane evil people ever written. And Miranda, you kind of there's like comments on class struggle and mobility and stuff like that, as well. And yeah, it's a really good book. I would highly recommend if you like. Not true crime, but just like if you like explorations of humanity, yeah, because you've got this. Anyway, yeah, a really good book. The ending's horrible and yeah, not cool, but kind of expected. And I don't want to give too much away, but it's really good. Like I say, half of it's from his point of view, half of it's from Miranda's, and yeah, both are quite. Like it's a page turn, but you just want to keep reading. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I would recommend that highly. Found this a few weeks, probably a couple of months ago, and I started reading it. Pan's Labyrinth, the novelization by Cornelia Funk and Guillermo del Toro. But mainly because I wanted to watch the movie, and of course, you know, your phone's listening when you talk about stuff. I really wouldn't mind watching Pan's Labyrinth. Your phone tells all your streaming services, and all your streaming services go, oh, well, that's paid now. You gotta rent it. So I'm just like, dude. And I found this, and I was like, hey, I'll read it instead. And I read it, and or read most of it before I moved on to The Collector. And I smashed that out in 3 weeks. Good book, a really good, solid. Like, I've seen Pan's Labyrinth a bunch of times. A good, solid translation of the film onto paper. And really cool how it, like, each chapter is kind of like the movie. It's got those fairy tale parts that translate into the movie. And, like, it goes way deeper into the fairy tale parts, which is really cool. I like that. And, yeah, I will finish it. I've only got about a quarter to go. But yeah, I really like that. It's came out a few years after Pan's Labyrinth, I think. When was this published? 2019. So yeah, when did Pan's Labyrinth come out? Like 2009? 2008? I don't know. Later? I don't know anymore, man. This thing's mush. Pan's Labyrinth. This is what I'm reading right at the second. James S.A. Corey, Leviathan Wakes. It's the first book of the Expanse series, that quite popular cult show that is on, I think it's on Amazon or something. I watched the first few episodes of that years ago. It didn't really grab me, but I saw this in, where was this? I think it was Salvos. I saw this in Salvos, and I was like, you know what? I was almost finished The Collector. And I was like, dude, I just need something fast, high energy, actiony, hard sci-fi to kind of cleanse the palate. And boy, does this deliver. I've read about that much in about a week and a half. Just from the style of the writing, it's totally designed to be a TV show or a movie. It's fast, it snaps, and moves quick. The dialogue is good. The characters are fleshed out a bit, but not too much. As the story unfolds, you get more, of course. But yeah, really cool. Kind of set in the not too distant future. And these guys are. Anyway, it's a big, complicated story. It's a space opera, and if you want something fast, punchy, hard sci-fi. Good dialogue, a little bit funny, good action, kind of realistic depiction of what future space would probably be like. Hint, the rich are rich and the poor are really poor. And yeah, I don't know. And like I said, yeah, I've ripped through this in it's like a week and a half, and I'm digging it, man. I'm digging it. I want to see the show again, but I want to read the books first, and then I'll get to the shows. One good thing about streaming is that the stuff's around, but I think it might have got kicked off Amazon because they're bastards. That's it. One Foot of Books, episode whatever it is. I'm S.A Corey. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you like. I'm not too worried. I'm keen to get. I don't want to jinx myself, but you know, I wanted to get this one out, and let's see where the future takes us. Huh? Yeah? Awesome.